Today, we're talking about my, dare I say, favorite horror movie of the year, Bring Her Back. I Have a Cat. Let's get into it. There's so much I want to talk about with this movie. I'm not going to give the full story in this video just because I want you all to go actually watch it, or if you want to wait for streaming, whatever. But I can't just give the plot away. It's so good, you have to watch it. I'm going to start out with at least giving a brief synopsis, not the whole storyline. We have Piper and Andy. Beginning of the film, they lose their dad. He dies in the shower. We don't fully get a explanation on how it happened. He appeared to have a lot of burns on him, so my assumption is that he slipped in the shower, hit his head, and then was burning in the water. I don't know. If anybody has any more information on that, I would love to know. Afterwards, Piper and Andy have to be put into foster care, and Andy is like a troubled kid. Well, had a past of being a troubled kid. Piper is legally blind. She's visually impaired, so she has some depth perception and light perception, I believe. Like, she can still see shapes, but other than that, she can't really see. So her bond with Andy is very close because Andy helps guide her and keep her safe and protected. And I just off the bat want to talk about that because this movie impressed me so much with their representation of blindness. I have watched a lot of blind creators. I like watching Molly Burke. She's incredibly inspirational, and she talks about the realities of blindness versus what stereotypes are created in media. And just from watching her videos and doing reading on it myself, I've learned a lot about it, and I think they did a good job at not being like, oh, she's blind and she's like looking all over the room because she can't hear, apparently. No, like, they did it very realistic. And it was realistic because they actually hired an actress that is also visually impaired, which is so amazing. I really hope that that is an inspiration for other filmmakers and producers in Hollywood to start casting actors with disabilities, because they can do the job just as well, if not better. Of course better, because it's real. And it's one of those things, as a filmmaker myself, yes, you would have to make accommodations and make things work, but isn't that worth it to have an authentic representation in your film? I think so. And also, actors with disabilities deserve work just as much as actors without. And I absolutely loved that they hired Sora Wong, and she was amazing. She did a great job. I think having hired her, she brought a lot of realism to the character, and I really liked that they did not make her this weak character that can't do anything for herself. She has some badass moments that I loved in the movie, and I think it was a great representation of showing, like, just because she doesn't have sight doesn't mean that she doesn't have other strengths because of it. Like, it doesn't make her weak as a character, and I think that that was a beautiful representation of that. She's had to learn to rely on other senses, I should say, because of her experience, has learned to use her hearing more, learned to use her sense of smell more. So there's a couple scenes where they have like references to like her being like, oh, I smelled you. I knew it was you because it smelled like you. And there's also scenes where she's like listening very carefully, and she's just doing, like, I loved the thought process behind her character, and I love the character development, and also just like her sibling relationship with Andy felt so beautiful and authentic, and I just was like in the first part of the movie, I'm just like kind of in awe with the writing, because I'm like, this feels very, very well written, where I'm not like, ugh, stereotype. Like, it just felt like we're writing real characters with real character relationships. So that, off the bat, was amazing. So I'll get back to developing this storyline a little bit. So we have Piper. She needs to have, could probably be fine without Andy, of course, but she wants her brother. He's there to help her a lot, at least from what I've read and also seen in videos from blind creators talking, whether it's a guide dog or like a person, a partner or a parent, like someone to help. Having a consistent, stable thing to rely on is so important. It's not easy. You can't just like switch someone out. Like, you develop a relationship and a bond with that either other person or that animal, and so it would have been very difficult for her if she had to go without Andy. So anyways, they get into a new foster home with Laura. Laura's very eccentric. We learned this right off the bat. She's kind of weird. She is like, let's take a picture together. Oh my gosh. And she takes a picture with Piper basically, and Andy's in the background, but she's like covering Andy's face. It's very clear off the bat. She wanted Piper. She doesn't give a shit about Andy. Like, he's just there. They also meet another foster child named Ollie. They also refer to him as Oliver. And she tells them he's mute. He doesn't talk. And so there's just kind of this unfolding dynamic of you seeing Ollie is a really weird child. Something's clearly wrong with him. There's like several scenes where he's trying to like murder and eat animals. He's doing a lot. And now I'm gonna stop talking about the story so we don't spoil it. But I want to talk about the gore, because that is what sold the movie for me. There is some amazing gore scenes in this. The gore lover in me, so good. Like, I just was so impressed too, because their practical effects with some of the gore, I was just like, holy shit, this is very, very realistic, and like, I had the heebie-jeebies, and I love gore. Like, y'all see the Terrifier stuff on my wall, love it. But even me, I was just like I was like hugging my knees in the theater, like, oh my god, this is intense. This is very, very intense. There's like a couple different scenes, one of which this child is like basically eating a knife. You know, kind of going off of the trope of people eating glass. Like, you can imagine it's kind of similar, but like almost worse. And then there's also a couple different scenes, really, of someone eating flesh. And it's very gory. Insane. If you like gore, you should watch this movie. If you're very sensitive to gore, maybe it's not for you. But also, I mean, you could just close your eyes. It's a great movie. I think that they had quite a good, I don't know if I would say it was necessarily a plot twist, but I would say it goes in a direction that I didn't predict from the beginning of the movie, which for me is impressive, because the amount of horror movies I've watched, I can see it all. I see it all a mile away. Like, it's in especially horror, it's like you're going one of 5 routes with the movie. And typically that's just how it is. Like, you kind of know, oh, this movie's a possession horror. This movie's a serial killer horror. This movie is a clown horror. Like, whatever it is, they always kind of have a pathway that you kind of can see coming. And this movie, it had a pathway, but it went a route that I was not expecting. And now I want to talk about the sound design because, oh, it was so good. Quick reference, I am a sound designer myself. I'm not in Hollywood yet, hopefully, but I do sound designing for a lot of short films. So for me, I was like watching it and I'm just like, this is so good. They're doing such a great job with the sound design. Oh my God. Because there's like, even knowing how the plot ends, you see like how they were using sound elements even in the beginning as like foreshadowing. So I would love to watch this movie again just to like rewatch it, knowing what I know from the end of the movie and being like, oh my God, this foreshadow, like it's just so well thought out. And I just loved the use of sound effects. Like they've really, in a lot of scenes, created almost a soundscape that just helps enhance the suspense so much. So I was really impressed by the sound design for this film. And I think, you know, that's probably a big reason why I really liked it, because I am a sound design snob and I realize that. But the last thing that I'm going to talk about, because I do want to talk a little bit about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, you can skip to the end or click off. I love you. Thank you for watching. I'm going to get into spoilers now because obviously they keep hinting throughout the movie that Laura's child was blind and died. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I think she's gonna try to like bring her back into Piper. So I kind of knew that. What I didn't realize is what they were going to do with Ollie's character, because I assumed that she was trying to bring her daughter back through Ollie, but once you get to the end and you realize, like, no, he's basically just a conduit to put the soul into Piper towards the end. Like, it was all part of a plan. And that, I was just like, I wasn't expecting this. Like, I thought it would be kind of a simplistic, like, possession horror kind of thing, but I wasn't expecting that element of it. And I also was not expecting them to actually kill off Andy. Like, I kept watching it and I'm like, no, Andy's alive. Andy's alive, right? Like, because when Piper's in the house, I'm like, yeah, that Andy's gonna pop out. Andy's gonna pop out. He's gonna like pop up and be like, oh, come on, Piper. Like, I just assumed, like, he would still be alive, but no, Laura fully kills him. I also quite liked how they ended the film. I'm really glad that Piper survived, as she should have, because amazing. But I wasn't expecting them to have her as strong as she was. Like, I loved that. Like, her character uses her other senses in a way of being able to like very closely escape, and she's like, I just was like, yes, like they're not just making her some like weak character that can't help herself. Like, no, she's just as strong as anyone else. She's just visually impaired, but that means that she can use other senses. But obviously her escaping is much more difficult when she can't see Laura in front of her. But I loved that, like, there's the scene of her just like throwing, I think she throws like a soap bottle at Laura, and And then I think, doesn't she, I think she like hits Ollie and shoves him away. Like, she just was killing it, and I loved that. They didn't fully show how the movie, like, is Laura dead? But I'm pretty sure she is, because the scene where she's like talking to her daughter in the ice box, she's digging into the gash on her arm, which I'm assuming she's like making it bleed, and then she gets into the pool with her dead daughter's body, and I'm assuming she's bleeding out. Her head's like above the water, so it's not like she's drowning. Did I say drowning? Drowning. It's not like she's drowning, but she is, I'm pretty sure, probably bleeding out and just dying in the pool with her daughter's corpse. Very, very morbid film. I was like so upset for Ollie's character, really Connor, because I just was like, god damn, this poor child is like, yeah, he's escaping, but Jesus, the effects that this is going to have on his body is insane. My kids are driving me insane. Anyways, I think that's all that I wanted to talk about with this movie. I would love to hear your thoughts on it if you watched it. And if you have any more suggestions for upcoming films that you want to see a video on, let me know. Or if there's any films that came out a while ago that you want to hear my thoughts on, let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it. There's a couple good releases coming up pretty soon that I am going to be reviewing. I know it's not technically a horror movie, but the movie Ballerina I really want to watch and do a review on, so I will be doing that. I also am planning to do a review on Megan 2.0, even though it kind of looks like shit. I'm still gonna review it. And I, of course, will be reviewing the new 28 Years Later. And then I think there's a couple others. I know there's Black Phone 2 coming out. I don't know what to think about that. I did like the first one, but I'm like, you should have left it where it was. I guess we'll see. But thank you for watching. I will see you guys for another video on Tuesday. Bye!